In your lifetime, how much will you spend on your hair? If you're like the average American woman, $55,000. It's no wonder hair companies spend billions advertising to get you to spend some of that money with them. But with so many brands fighting for your money, they have to invent new ways to get your attention. One of the latest trends? Personalized shampoo and conditioner. You can't watch many YouTube videos without running into one of these.
Thank you to Function of Beauty for sponsoring this video. Function of Beauty. Function of Beauty.
Function of Beauty. Function of Beauty. Function of Beauty.
Function of Beauty.
Function of Beauty.
The concept is simple. Take a short quiz about your hair, and they make you your own custom shampoo and conditioner. You even get to pick the color, scent, and have your name printed on the bottle. And now, thanks to a new collab with Target, creating your own custom hair care is more accessible than ever. But is custom shampoo really better for your hair? Or is this just good marketing? Hello and welcome to the Queendom. I'm Sarah Engel, and if you're new here, we nerd out on the science behind hair and beauty, so if you're into that too, poke the red subscribe button to join us. Today, I'm gonna share with you my 4-part guide so you can avoid wasting your money on hair products that don't work. We're gonna go through it all step by step with a real life example and uncover the truth about the new Function of Beauty line of shampoos and conditioners at Target. At the end of the video, I'll reveal to you my final conclusion, and we'll see if it matches yours. First, let's get you up to speed on the products we're going to investigate today, the Function of Beauty Target line. First, you choose your shampoo and conditioner base based on your hair type. You've got coily, curly, wavy, straight. Then you choose up to 3 hair goals out of 10 options called boosters, which are these little boxes. Anti-frizz, soothe scalp, deep condition, volumize, color protection, shine, curl definition, thermal protection, lengthen, strengthen. Once you get home, you just pour in your boosters, shake them up, and you have your own custom shampoo and conditioner. The shampoo and conditioner bases are $10 each, and then each booster is $3. So for a full set, you pay $29 versus online you'd pay $50 for a large set or $40 for a small set. So is it worth your $29? It's time for us to find out. You can think of this like putting together a puzzle. The complete puzzle tells you everything there possibly is to know about a product. Unfortunately, you're never going to have all the puzzle pieces. But the more pieces you have, the better you can start to see the full picture. You have 4 main buckets of puzzle pieces: marketing, ingredients, science, and reviews. But there's a catch. A lot of these pieces aren't part of this puzzle. When you understand a bucket really well, you know how to spot the right pieces. But if you go through a bucket you don't understand very well, you'll probably miss lots of good puzzle pieces, and you'll accidentally grab pieces that don't belong. Trying to force extra pieces in the puzzle will just confuse you and give you a wrong idea of what the full picture is. We're gonna go through each one. I'm gonna show you how to sort through it, mistakes you're gonna wanna avoid, and where you can learn more. First up, marketing. We're talking everything a brand does to shape what you think and how you feel about them. Packaging, in-store displays, the company's app and website. Marketing revolves around customers. They know you're not gonna buy more or recommend it to your friends if you don't have a good experience, but they're still trying to sell you something, so you can't just trust everything they say at face value. The CMO of Function of Beauty, Lorna Somerville, actually explains it really well.
I would maybe call BS on any marketing team that was like, we're just investing for the greater good of the brand, because ultimately it needs to pay off at some point. You know, we're not out here solving world peace. Like, we're all marketers, we're not artists.
One thing Function of Beauty does really well: marketing. Even the very concept of creating your own custom shampoo, it's freaking genius. These people know what they're doing, and you see it in every detail, even in details where it doesn't really make sense. We'll come back to that in a minute. To make sense of the marketing puzzle pieces, you need to think like a marketer. Who would buy a make-your-own shampoo from Target? It's a good chance they're female. They may watch a lot of beauty videos on YouTube and be up with the latest hair care trends. They probably know more about hair than the average person. We can see that Function of Beauty seems to think that because the packaging uses terms like 4A, 4B, 4C, and the entire line is based on the Andre Walker curl typing system. Also, anyone interested in a create your own shampoo and wants to play chemist is probably more likely to read ingredients lists. You may not realize it yet, but you just unlocked a powerful tool. Once you understand who a brand's target customer is and what that person wants, you start to see the why behind every marketing decision. Now when you're going through the rest of those buckets, you're gonna know where to look for red flags. You'll be shocked what you notice now. Let's grab these shampoo and conditioner bases. Starting with the coily bases, we have coily hair shampoo with flaxseed oil. And then on the back, it talks about the benefits of flaxseed oil. Then we have coily hair conditioner with Jamaican black castor oil. And again on the back, benefits of castor oil. Curly hair shampoo with chia extract. Curly hair conditioner with shea butter. Wavy hair shampoo, fermented rice water. Wavy conditioner, argan oil, straight shampoo, coconut water. Straight conditioner, avocado oil. This theme continues for all the boosters too. It fits perfectly with what we said about the customer being super into ingredients. What's funny is some of the highlighted special ingredients aren't actually special, like the curly hair conditioner with shea butter. All of their conditioners have at least some form of shea butter in them. Are they lying? No. We just see that they're really sticking to this ingredients marketing strategy even when it's not perfectly logical. It's nothing to freak out about, but it's a clue to keep our eyes open for a pattern that could mean a red flag. Which brings us to ingredients. People like the idea of an ingredients list because they don't trust the marketing, and it seems like something you can trust when in reality, they're probably where we get most of our misinformation and pseudoscience. There's a popular misconception that you can accurately review a product just by reading the ingredients. That is not true. An ingredient by itself acts different than it does in an entire formula. Chemicals interacting with each other and changing is basically the point of chemistry. An easier way to look at it. It's not like a fruit salad and everything you toss in there just stays strawberries, blueberries, watermelons, and pineapple. It's closer to baking because baking is kind of like edible chemistry. If you ate the individual ingredients of a cake, that'd be disgusting. When you mix the right amounts together in the right order and you heat them at the right temperature, you get a tasty cake. Mix the wrong amounts, even by a little bit, or cook them too long, and you might get a disgusting cake. A cosmetic chemist with a PhD and years of experience formulating products can't tell you everything about a product from an ingredients list. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't look at the ingredients at all. We just need to remember we can't judge an entire product just by an ingredients list or freak out about specific ingredients. Usually, we just want to make sure there's nothing you're allergic to and maybe get an idea of generally what the product is all about. But with our function of beauty example, the ingredients themselves are a huge part of the marketing strategy. So the question is, why are these ingredients included? Because a cosmetic chemist chose to add them because they work well? Or because marketing knows what trending ingredients will sell? Which leads us right into our next bucket, science. Be very careful here. Not just when you're doing your own research, but also when you're listening to people claiming to give scientific advice. I love that people want to use good sources instead of getting info from gossip magazines, but when we YouTubers claim something is based in science, we owe you guys a higher standard. I would rather people use 5-minute crafts as a source than a severely misinterpreted peer review study that now they're telling everyone is scientific fact. Reading studies without context is where we get a lot of our misinformation. Unless you have a graduate degree in a related science or an expert to help you, I suggest starting with books, lectures, or courses before you attempt to interpret studies. Also, not all studies are equal. Really bad quality studies might be worse than no studies at all. Here's how you're gonna spot the good studies and avoid misinterpreting them. First, read the whole paper. The whole paper. You cannot just read the abstract. The abstract is kind of like nerdy clickbait designed to want to make people read the full article. 2, check the source. Who's writing it? Who's paying for it? Who's publishing it? Is there a reason why someone may be biased or want a specific result? Like if a study is funded by a company trying to show if their own product is effective, red flag. Was the study done on animals or in vitro? In vitro just means like in a test tube or a culture dish. Cells in a little glass tray don't work the same as they do on your scalp. Mice are not humans. We can double the lifespan of mice, but we don't have 200-year-old people walking around. 4, how big is the sample size? The more people you test in the study, the bigger your sample size. Generally, you want a big sample size. You can't assume that what happens with one or even a few people is gonna be true for anyone else. 5, is there a control group? A control group helps you make sure that the results are because of the experiment and not because of something outside of the study. It can be a big red flag if the study doesn't have a control. Let's say a brand comes out with hair growth donuts they claim make your hair grow faster. To test this, you have an experimental group that eats the hair growth donuts. and then the control group just gets regular donuts. Now, sometimes just believing something is true makes a difference. That's called the placebo effect. So if you're testing those hair growth donuts and you want to see how much of it's actually the donuts causing the results versus people believing that the donuts will help, you need a placebo group that gets regular donuts, but you tell them they're getting hair growth donuts. 6, understand significance. I see a lot of YouTubers confused about this one. Significant in statistics means something different than when we say significant to our friends. If you say that a teacher had a significant impact on your life, you mean that your teacher had a big impact. Statistical significance has to do with how likely it is that your results just happened by chance. So if a study says there was a significant increase in hair length, that doesn't mean that there's necessarily a noticeable difference. It just means it's longer by some amount, and it probably wouldn't be longer without whatever it was you did to it in the experiment. 7, understand correlation versus causation. Let's say you've noticed there have been a lot of shark attacks lately. What is yet another devastating shark attack? Next up, ice cream sales are skyrocketing while your local ice cream parlor may be out of your favorite flavors. What if no, it couldn't be? So you pull all the data, run your statistical analysis, and sure enough, when ice cream sales go up, there are more shark attacks. It's statistically significant across countries and has been going back as far as the data. This proves it. Ice cream causes shark attacks. No. People buy more ice cream when it's hot out. More people go swimming when it's hot out, so there are more shark attacks. Ice cream sales and shark attacks are correlated, but the cause is the hot, sunny weather. Just because a study shows there's a significant correlation doesn't mean it's the cause. 8. Have other studies found similar results? If you read a study and come to a conclusion that goes against everything experts say, that's a good sign you may have misinterpreted it. Or maybe you did interpret it correctly, but this study is an outlier. Science is all about pulling all of the evidence together and then following where it leads. Claiming a single study proves something is the opposite of science. So, what do the science puzzle pieces tell us about function of beauty? Since the marketing focuses so much on key special ingredients, let's start there. First up, one of the trendiest, rice water, the special ingredient in the wavy hair shampoo. Fermented rice water to strengthen and increase elasticity in wavy hair. So to strengthen and increase elasticity, I think they're claiming this from a 2012 study that sometimes YouTubers use to make claims about rice water, where they soaked hair in rice extract and showed that it coated the hair and protected it from UV rays. This doesn't actually back up the rice water claim though. The study is on a rice extract called Cara rice, which isn't fermented rice water. Also in this study, they soaked the hair in it for 24 hours, washed it, soaked the hair again for another 24 hours, and repeated this every day for 10 days. And then when they conducted the experiment, they also didn't rinse it off. And this is one ingredient in a shampoo that you rinse off and immediately goes down the drain. This seems like a marketing gimmick. That doesn't make it a bad shampoo, but I'd be willing to bet that it doesn't actually make your hair stronger or more elastic. Now, the color protection booster does have some rice extract ingredients in it that are commonly used for UV protection, so I think you'd have a better shot at getting some of these benefits from the color protection booster. Now let's look at a booster where I don't think marketing chose any of the ingredients, but I doubt it can actually do what it claims. The Lengthen Booster. In my long hair guide, we busted a lot of myths about things that claim to make your hair grow. There are some things like minoxidil, the main Rogaine ingredient, that help with hair loss, but the effective ones like minoxidil are drugs. Drug companies make hair regrowth products, not the cosmetic companies that make our normal shampoos. Any regular shampoo claiming to promote hair growth and make it longer seems a little sus. So, what is the special lengthening ingredient? Hops extract. And yes, there's a study on hops extract. If you read the abstract, it sounds wonderful, but then you open the article and it's all in Japanese first. The charts, thankfully, were in English. So if you look at those and the abstract, you can see that a lot of the results were on mice. And the only humans in the study were all men suffering from male pattern baldness, which is not exactly the typical function of beauty customer. Granted, I'm piecing together what I can from the English bits and Google Translate, but there are so many things wrong with this study. There's no placebo control. The abstract implies that 54 men were studied, but no. 54 men answered surveys about whether or not they felt like it was effective. They only measured hair growth rate for 11 people. And over a quarter of them, their hair actually grew slower with the hops extract. But even if you didn't even bother to read any of the article, a huge red flag. This was by a company that's trying to sell their own hair care product. You couldn't ask for a better example of a bad quality study. You wanna know what's interesting? So hops extract is not one of Function of Beauty's lengthening ingredients for their online products, but pea sprout extract is, and in their Target line, pea sprout extract is their strengthen ingredient. And oh my goodness. The pea sprout extract studies. They were so bad. First, we have another instance where the company that sells this ingredient is funding the research. Second, there's no control group, and this study needs a control group. The participants were primarily women experiencing telogen effluvium, which is a fancy way of saying general hair loss all over the scalp. They put this pea sprout extract gel on their scalps twice a day, and then after 3 months, they saw a 78% increase in hair density. What a magical cure! Well, it would be if it weren't for one very important detail. Telogen effluvium is triggered by something. It could be extreme stress, really high fever, going on a crash diet. As long as the trigger goes away, the problem fixes itself and your hair grows back in about 3 months. I know you guys are gonna make fun of me because nobody else in the world will get this upset about it. It just made me angry. It's not like Function of Beauty is the only one doing this. In December 2019, Dr. Trevor Evans stood before the Society of Cosmetic Chemists to urge researchers to come together to stop the madness. Every marketing claim needs good evidence. We can help by stopping the spread of misinformation and not buying products that fearmonger or use misleading claims. Here are some words cosmetic chemists say to watch out for. This first one might be dropping a bomb for some of you. Clean. Clean beauty is based on lies. Clean products don't mean safer or greener. If you're like me, this may go completely against everything you've ever been told. So if you want to learn more, I'll link to Lab Buff and Beauty Science's video on clean beauty. Hair growth or lengthen, unless it's a drug like minoxidil, we don't currently have good evidence to support cosmetic ingredients can make your hair grow. Even with hair vitamins, things like biotin only help if you are deficient in it, and almost nobody who isn't starving to death is biotin deficient. Technically, most moisturizing and hydrating claims in hair care would fall under this. Your hair isn't skin. Holding water into it isn't a healthy thing for it. My last 2 videos are entirely on this topic if you want to learn more. Strengthen. Dr. Evans says strengthening the hair scientifically never happens. Brands get away with saying that products strengthen your hair by making products that condition. Conditioning reduces snagging and pulling, so when people brush or comb their hair, it breaks less. Now, there are some things with newer bond-building technologies like what we see in Olaplex that may strengthen damaged hair, but that's another topic for another video. So, science bucket. Function of Beauty. You might be thinking, yikes, but I don't want to paint them as a villain. Yes, some of those ingredients and claims look sketchy, but we didn't look at every single one. And yes, they use almost every buzzword on that list, but so many brands do that it's harder for newer companies to survive if they don't. Not impossible, but harder. This doesn't mean the products are bad. We still have one more bucket of puzzle pieces left though, so let's hold off on any final verdicts just yet. Before we move on, if you want to learn more about science, a great way to learn that's also really entertaining is by following scientists on social media. Here are some of my absolute favorites to follow. They will make you want to be a scientist when you grow up, even if you're already an adult. We're on to our final bucket. Reviews. Some things we can't know about a product without trying it. Here is where YouTube really shines. We need people giving honest reviews of products. No hair science needed, just share your experience. Also, beauty products aren't just about function. They're about self-care and how they make you feel. If a product makes you feel great, but you know scientifically it does nothing special, that's okay. That's better than okay. Like, feeling good about yourself is way more important than having moderately cleaner hair. Just like with all the others with reviews, there are some mistakes that you need to look out for. First, relying on reviews only from people with different hair types. It doesn't mean you can't watch reviews with people who have different hair types, but you should be looking for people who have hair that seems like it's similar to yours to get the best idea if it's gonna work well for you. Second, assuming personal experiences means scientific evidence. For example, the number one thing that determines whether or not someone's gonna be satisfied with their shampoo is how much it lathers, but in reality, the lather has nothing to do with getting your hair clean. 3, panicking about horror stories. If one person says a shampoo made all their hair fall off, they might be allergic to something in it, something else could have caused it, we don't know. Even if a handful of people say the same thing, it doesn't necessarily mean to avoid it. Remember the shark and ice cream example. Sometimes there's another cause. So how was my Function of Beauty experience? I didn't actually try it. I know. Okay, so here's the deal. I pH tested all of the shampoos and they're all around 6, which is pretty common. But if you see my shampoo video, we read a couple studies that said shampoo pH should be between 3.5 and 5.5. It's not always quite that simple. However, given what I know, I choose not to use them, at least not on a regular basis. We've gathered all of our puzzle pieces to put together. What's the verdict on Function of Beauty Target? Honestly, some of the claims do feel a little gimmicky, but it's such a unique, fun experience. If that's something that you really want, you understand some of the claims are questionable and you can afford it, I say go for it. It's cool that professionals formulated this so you can mix and match and it all plays together nicely. You get to play chemist without worrying about you might do something catastrophic to your hair. Now, if this would be a splurge for you and you really want to make sure that you're spending every dollar wisely to get the most benefit for your hair, I'd say save your money for something else. Your best bet is probably a leave-in product, not a shampoo or conditioner. Also, if you're concerned about waste, yeah, it's recyclable, but this is definitely a lot of extra trash for no real reason. For me personally, even if I wasn't a weirdo about the pH, the questionable marketing claims ruin it. I get that it's especially hard for smaller brands to survive when so many brands are doing it, but there are small brands that make it work, and I would rather support them for doing it ethically and honestly. I want to hear from you guys now, so tell me in the comments, which hair goal would you pick? If I had to pick one, where is it? Color protection, because it has UV protection in it, then thermal protection, and volume ice. If you want more videos like this, poke the red subscribe button and ring the little bell so you don't miss out on anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't eat that, Pansy, no! Pansy, why you gotta be eating my puzzle pieces?